YouTube world? We are Two Poets, and welcome back to Two Poets React, where we find videos on the internet and we react to those videos. I'm Corey.
I'm Ben.
And we're here to talk about stuff.
Yes.
Can't be any more clear than that.
All the stuff. We want to talk about all of it.
Yes. What stuff are we talking about today, Ben? What do you got for the people?
Oh, man. So, all the stuff. There's this poet, and his name is Rudy Francisco. And he is I guess you could call him an inspirational slam poetry artist.
Ooh.
I think that works. I think that's a
nice.
Yeah, I think that's a good description of him. He is out of the several things I've watched of him, he is very energetic, very outspoken on social justice, and he's also just a really charismatic person that you would see and then want to meet and just be like, dude, okay. I like your energy. I just want to hang out with you. That's how he comes across. So
nice. Yeah.
I
have personally never heard of Rudy Francisco until today when Ben brought it up. So I will be reacting honestly to this. And I'm super excited about it. That's what we do. We try to find something that the other person hasn't seen. So today is my turn to not know what I'm getting into. For those of you who watched our last reaction video, we watched Beth May do Goldfish, and then today we're doing another poetry piece. So sometimes we do music and then poetry, but today we're doing another spoken word piece, and I'm super excited about it. Awesome. Do you want to preface everyone with who Rudy Francisco is, like maybe stuff he's done or something a little more about him before we hop in?
Absolutely. So I was going to read some stuff. This is actually just on Wikipedia, but this is a little blurb on him. So Rudy K. Francisco is an American spoken word poet and writer. He's won several poetry slams, written 6 books of poetry. His books are Getting Stitches, Scratch, No Gravity Part 2, Helium, and I'll Fly Away. He's made several TV appearances. Actually, he was on Jimmy Fallon a few years ago promoting his book Helium. And I would definitely encourage you to go watch that. From what I saw, he did 2 performances on Fallon, and they are just dynamic. The guy is just, he's amazing. So I am really excited to see your reaction, because I remember my first time hearing this poem, and I was inspired. So I think it will be very inspiring to you as well.
Good. I am pumped. It looks like it's coming in at 2 minutes and 35 seconds, so a shorter piece, but hey, we love those pieces that are short and powerful.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about this, and I don't know how I've never heard of this guy, but I mean, with as many people as there are in the world, I mean, I'm bound to not know everybody, right?
That's a weird thing about poets, isn't it? People that you've never heard of, and they're incredible, and you're like, how have we never heard of you? You know, and then you keep hearing about the same people in the same circles. And somehow their names keep going. Those are the people that pop up. And then it's so weird. You would think that there would be a wider circle of awareness around poets.
Yeah, especially since there's less poets than there are musicians and celebrities and things. It's we should
especially
a tighter circle.
Especially with all of the social injustice in the world and all of all of these prevalent issues going on, that people would be more aware of poetic voices. Yeah. So it's interesting. But yeah, he's definitely a good one, and I'm excited. I'm excited for you to hear.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Let me pull up the screen here. There we go. All right. So this is on Button Poetry's channel. They had Rudy Francisco on, and the poem is called I Want to Write a Poem, which is very fitting.
Very fitting.
Because don't we all? So here we go. Let's listen. Hope you're all excited as I am, and hopefully it's not too loud. We'll find out. In 3, 2, 1.
I want to write a poem, but I wanted to say what you're thinking. I want to patch up the holes when your boat starts sinking. I want to write that one-of-a-kind poem, that free your mind poem, that I like how you made that rhyme poem, that I like that last line poem, that can I hear that one more time, that is, if you don't mind. Poem. I want to write that she's kind of fine poem, that I wish she was mine poem, that I want to ask out, but I'm on my last dime. poem, that what should I do, please God, give me a sign poem. I want to write that so heartfelt, I think I know him poem, that this is so amazing, I gotta go find all my friends so I can show them poem. I want to write about everything that I've ever wanted to be. I want to write a poem so beautiful that my parents might actually start to agree. I want to write about you, about me, about us, about everything from cars and trains to riding the bus, betrayal and trust, mistakes and heartaches. I want to talk about when I first learned to drive and I was so scared to let my foot off of the brakes. I want to talk about battles, about wars, about victories and losses, about ethnic cleansing, genocide, and lawns penetrated by burning crosses and burnt down churches. I want to write 2 poems for everyone who's ever been told they were worthless. On my metaphors and similes to part oceans, rivers, and seas. I want to write love poems so sweet that the ink on the paper attracts honeybees. I want to speak the unspoken. I want to fix everything in the world that's broken. I want to be the one that performs the Heimlich maneuver as soon as our society starts choking. I want my words of inspiration to inspire somebody else to be inspirational. I want the motivation in my voice to motivate somebody else to be motivational. I want my phrases to be published, documented, and quoted. I want people to recite my work 10 years from now and have critics say, that was cool, but it wasn't nearly as good as he first wrote it. You see, I want husbands to thank my poems for the heart that they stole. And I know this is just some shameless attempt to immortalize my soul, but honestly, I don't want to be forgotten. Yeah, I don't need fortune. I really don't need fame. I just want people to know what I stood for and why I came. I refuse to die a mere occupant of the earth, a John Doe, another faceless man out there with no name. I refuse to be just another man. I want to walk for centuries and leave my footprints in the sand for the world to see. And I want to be cremated into ashes of rhymes and poetry. I'm just feeling like one day they're going to love me. See, I don't share my emotions too often, but poetry will allow me to die with my heart on my sleeve. They never saw me coming, but I'll make sure they grieve when I leave. Thank you.
Whoo, man.
If you've ever like, that's a poem that just like makes me physically, like it just makes me happy. Like he delivers some things and I'm just like, yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love he is just so personable.
Dude.
Like when he speaks and like he's just got that charm when he talks. You know, a lot of like spoken words and like slam poetry and stuff, I feel like you typically over exaggerate, you know, to drive points. But I feel like he's just like having a conversation with you and dropping these crazy rhymes.
Totally. And he has such a genuine energy.
Yeah.
It's like obviously he's reciting a poem, but like yeah, you're right, dude. He could literally be having that conversation with someone over the phone. And it's just flowing, you know, like that's how genuine he is in that. It's so good, dude.
Yeah, he looks like the kind of guy I just want to sit and just chill and talk to for a long time and pick his brain. The way that flowed was seriously wonderful. Like, I don't know, just there's something about a flow, whether it's in rap music or poetry, you know, whatever. Like sometimes the flow is what makes it good, you know? And the way he just flowed with it and just came out was just... Yeah, it was like you must have practiced this like a million times to get that to flow that perfectly. Dude. But it's probably just natural for this guy.
Here's the other thing: a poem like that, I would love to hear him delivering that another time because I guarantee you it's different.
Yeah,
I mean it's probably it's the type of poem that based on the emotion in the room and the emotion in the moment, he can deliver it 3 or 4 different ways. That's what's so cool about it. He could, like, if you slowed that down, I wonder how much different that emotion would hit, you know?
Yeah, if you slow that down, had some, like, piano music in the background, something chill, and, like, it would just be a whole nother level.
Man, this is what's so fun about poetry is, like, there are like, rules, but the boundaries are not, there are not hard boundaries. It's like if you took a string and laid it in a circle, that's your boundary, but then you kind of like took a stick and just poked it a little bit. Let's just expand this boundary here and see what happens. Let's go over here. Let's play with this a little bit, and then you like form it into like a shape or something. Yeah. Until you get to the point where you're like, I'm tired of there being a boundary, and you take scissors and cut the string.
Cut it.
Now you can do whatever you want, and then the next thing you know, you're taking the string and flailing it around the room because you can, and that's what's so good about poetry. You can play with it, and you can mold it, and you can cut it up and you can throw it out and you can like
Yeah.
create things and just make it whatever you feel in the moment. I love it, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, for sure. That is so true about poetry. It's like you're saying, like, these are the rules. Now go break those rules.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause,
break
I
the
mean,
rules.
there are rules, but nobody follows rules when it comes to creativity and something poetic. It's like you start with that so you can get your foundation, and then it's like, okay, like you said, how far can I push this boundary out before this side breaks?
Yeah.
You know, and kind of like you were telling me before we started this video, you're like, you're gonna watch this and you're just gonna want to go start writing poetry. You know, it's like, no, I immediately felt that as soon as it started going. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get ideas and start writing them down, because
Yeah.
when you see someone do it so flawlessly and like effortlessly, you're just like, man, I gotta keep doing this. You know?
Yeah. Well, and it makes you, like, this poem makes you start thinking about, like, yeah, what do I want to be remembered for? You know, what is it? What is it
Yeah.
that's important to me? What do I want people to know? And what impact do I want to leave? You know, he's just infectious. He's got this like contagious attitude. It's awesome. I love it.
I love the part where, like we were talking about the way he flows and everything, and it makes it kind of theatrical in a funny, light sense when he was like, so heartfelt that I think I know him poem, that this is so tight, I got to go find all my friends so I can show them poem, you know, like,
Yeah.
let that lay on. And like, I was like, I knew that was coming. I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
My favorite line, which I can tell everyone else loved it too, was, I want to write love poems so sweet that the ink on the paper attracts honeybees. Like,
Dude,
that is such an amazing rhyme. Like,
Seriously.
seriously.
how do you think of that? You know,
Yeah.
Is that's either a line you spent days on, or it just flowed out like he wrote it and then was like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
like
That
that's
was
such
just
a good
perfect.
line. It's so good. Yeah, I love it. I wanna write poems that husbands can take credit for the hearts they stole. You know, like I freaking
Yeah.
that's so great. I love it. That wasn't an exact quote, but
Yeah. Some along
So
those
good.
lines. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go buy some of his books, because that is, I. So the cool thing about like spoken word poets is, like kind of what I found out with like Bradley Hathaway, is I read the book first, right,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
you hear them perform that specific poem, and you don't know what to expect, because the way you read it, you don't know how they're gonna perform it. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if I go read this guy's books and then go find some of his performances, and like, what did I have in my head, and then how does he perform that spoken word piece, and like, how different is it? Because that's always fun to me.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting thing about Hathaway, the first time I heard him was actually the book, but someone else was reading it to me. So I got that reader's interpretation of Hathaway's
Oh,
words,
yeah.
which made me like, dude, what is that? And he was like, oh, it's this book, and then he read it to me, and I was like, whoa. And then his interpretation of it made me really like it, and so I wanted to go and get the book. And then I heard Hathaway, and it was funny because I'm like, it's Hathaway, it's his poetry, but I'm like, man, the way that this guy read it was actually really good. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, the interpretation is always fun. So
Yeah, man. So Rudy Francisco, shout out to you. That was an amazing poem. I can't wait to dive in to see pretty much everything else you got. Like, yeah, you're gonna go
Yeah.
up on my list. It's gonna be some good summer reading. So yeah, the rest of you watching, definitely go check out the rest of Rudy Francisco. Website is I am Rudy Francisco. Is that what you said?
I am rudyfrancisco.com.
All right.
He performed his spoken word poems "Complainers" and "Rifle" on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And that would have been back in, I don't know, probably like, I think it was from his book. He was promoting his book Helium, which I think he wrote in 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. So it would have been back around that time. Yeah. Don't quote me on that.
You're
But,
wrong,
yeah.
and everyone's gonna
I
get in the
think-
comments
I think
and tell you
that's
about it.
about the time frame. So, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, awesome. Okay, yeah, we'll have all those links in the description below. Yeah, but what else can we say? But go check out Rudy Francisco. Go if you haven't checked out our other reaction videos. Now's the time. Go check out our other reaction videos. We did Beth May. We've done the Beatles.
Yeah.
We've done a few other music stuff. We've done Listener. So go check out all those videos. And while you're doing, go check out our podcast as well. You can hear us talk about all things creativity, whether that is what it feels like to be an imposter, or how to set a creative schedule. We talk about all that stuff on our podcast, where you can find anywhere you listen to podcasts at Two Poets. Yeah, Ben, anything else you want to say before we sign off on this?
Man, I just encourage everybody to listen to that and then go out and write a poem.
Yes. And if you listen to this, go write a poem, shoot us an email, TwoPoetsPodcast@gmail.com, or link us in the comments something. Or if you've performed a spoken word piece that you want us to look at, please put that in the comments below as well. We love checking that stuff out. And, shameless plug, you can go get each of our books off Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you want to go get it. So have links for that also in the description. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out our reaction video. As always, I'm Corey.
I'm Ben.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.